we've got some questions for you.
Mr. Trump, you've done great things in your life, and I just wonder, how do I, as an average person, begin?
Well, first of all, never think of yourself as average. You started off with the wrong question. You have to tell yourself that you just have to get that word average out of your vocabulary, and you have to tell yourself that you're great, and you have to believe it. If you can say it and don't believe it, it doesn't matter. So just go out there and work hard.
Real estate mogul, television personality, business tycoon, President of the United States. These are the career achievements of one man who now has an estimated net worth of $5 billion. His name? Donald John Trump. Hearing the name Donald Trump evokes different feelings in different people. Some admire him for his business acumen and charisma. To some others, this very charisma was the bane of his leadership during his time as president. Whatever you think of him, one thing we can all agree on is that Donald Trump is rich. He's got money, and a good amount of it too. How did he go from being a real estate mogul in New York to becoming one of America's most influential political figures? To answer this, we'll start with one obvious truth. Donald Trump was born rich. Not as rich as he currently is, but he had a good launchpad for success. His father, Fred Trump, was a successful real estate developer who was involved in more than 27,000 building projects in New York City. In 1968, he joined Fred's real estate business, Trump Management, eventually rising to become the president of the company in 1971. He renamed it the Trump Organization shortly after. Although he was born with a silver spoon, Donald Trump has a remarkable hustle spirit that his father simply called drive. He was the second youngest of Fred's 5 children, but the only one who showed any interest in real estate. Fred noticed his business acumen early and nurtured it. "Donald is the smartest person I know," he said. "Everything he touches turns to gold." Donald Trump's first major move as president of his father's company was to expand the business to Manhattan. He was only 25 at the time, but his tactic was quite sly: to attract media attention with his catchy architectural designs. It worked. His building projects were criticized by architects, but they did admit that everything about them was calculated to make money. To Trump, that was a good sign. In 1978, Trump took on his first major deal in the city of Manhattan, the development of the Grand Hyatt Hotel. This 1,400-room hotel, situated next to Grand Central Terminal, had operated as the Commodore Hotel since 1919. In the 1960s, it experienced financial difficulties, which prompted Donald, who was constantly on the lookout for the next big business opportunity, to forge a partnership with the Pritzker family. Together, they offered to purchase the Commodore. It was such a big deal that one real estate expert said succeeding on this venture would make him the William Zeckendorf of bad times. The plan was for Trump to lead the purchase and renovation of the hotel, while the Pritzker family, who owned the Hyatt hotel chain, would provide the operational expertise required to run it. To finance this project, Donald Trump requested a 50-year tax abatement in a program proposed by the then mayor of New York to foster business growth in the city. He received an impressive 40-year abatement instead, which served as proof of his top-tier negotiation skills. Like he had done with his previous building projects, Trump turned most of his attention to the hotel's aesthetics. He sheathed the hotel's fading brick facade in glass and replaced its lobby with an atrium. He also decreased the number of rooms, but made them larger to meet the luxury standard he wanted to present to the public. The Grand Hyatt Hotel opened for business in September 1980, with all its rooms fully booked. It was the perfect timing, coinciding with the 1980s boom. People argued that the renovation and reopening of the hotel spurred this boom, but one thing was clear: Donald Trump had pulled off one of the most memorable real estate deals in the history of New York. He wasn't done, though. In 1983, just 3 years after he completed his first major real estate project, Trump, the real estate mogul, hit again with the development of a 58-story skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan. He called it the Trump Tower. What many people don't know is that he had dreamt of building the tower at that very location since childhood. In the 1970s, he made plans to develop the site, which was occupied by the flagship store of American luxury brand Bonwit Teller. With his eyes on the property, Trump literally pestered the company's owners with calls about wanting to purchase the building. In 1977, the company was selling off some assets to clear its debts, and a 31-year-old Donald Trump swooped in like a hawk to claim the property. He got it for about $10 million. Next, he pulled off negotiations with several government agencies to enable him to begin the project. Again, Trump wanted a very tall and expensive building to attract a certain class of tenants, and he got it. Advertisements in several newspapers and magazines came next, and in just 4 months, about 95% of the residential units in the tower were sold. You know why this is a big deal? Those apartments were super expensive. Prices soared to as high as $12 million. Sales from this project alone earned Trump about $300 million, a whopping 50% profit from its construction cost of $200 million. As if these weren't enough, Trump continued to extend his real estate tentacles to other cities. He built Harrah's at Trump Plaza, a hotel and casino in Atlantic City in 1984, the Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida in 1985, the Taj Mahal Casino also in 1985. Look, we could go on and on about Trump's real estate investments, but that wouldn't cover how he built his current $5 billion wealth. Forbes does say that his real estate assets are currently valued at $1.1 billion. One of Donald Trump's most interesting business ventures is in media and entertainment. He owned several beauty pageants, including Miss Universe and Miss USA. Both shows were hosted on NBC and raked in millions of views in the early 2000s. Soon, Trump founded a modeling company, Trump Model Management, which has recruited hundreds of models since its inception. However, the businessman's most successful entertainment enterprise was The Apprentice. Created by Mark Burnett and co-produced by Donald Trump, The Apprentice was a reality TV show that aired from 2004 to 2017 on NBC. The show, which was advertised as the ultimate job interview, was much like Shark Tank. It featured 14 to 18 aspiring entrepreneurs who would compete to earn a one-year, $250,000 starting contract to head one of Trump's companies. You know what's funny? Trump never liked reality TV shows. When Mark Burnett first approached him, he reportedly said that it was for the bottom feeders of society. He had accumulated most of his wealth by catering to the high-income class of society and was more used to that kind of lifestyle. This is where Mark got him, though. He asked Trump to host the show as himself. Donald Trump, the highly successful businessman. Apart from his desire to diversify his assets, Trump found the offer enticing, and the first season of The Apprentice began. It ran for 15 seasons and presented Trump as the boss whom the contestants had to work to impress. Finding a place to host the show was a no-brainer with Trump's plethora of real estate assets. He eventually chose the Trump Tower. Viewers were intrigued by the kinds of tasks that the contestants had to pull off. Its popularity grew so much that the first season garnered an impressive 28 million viewers. Although these views eventually dropped, Trump has reported that he earned $214 million from 14 seasons of The Apprentice. He also improved his public profile and brand, earning more money from licensing his name. When Trump noticed the drop in views on The Apprentice, he put a spin on it and introduced the Celebrity Apprentice. This time, celebrities were the contestants. Their goal was to compete to win money for a charitable organization of their choice. Arnold Schwarzenegger joined Donald Trump as a host of The Celebrity Apprentice, which ran for 8 seasons. Famous media personalities and celebrities like Joan Rivers, Piers Morgan, Arsenio Hall, David Cassidy, and Trace Adkins participated. With its prequel series and more licensing agreements, Donald Trump earned about $400 million from The Celebrity Apprentice. To further expand his financial portfolio, Trump began to license his name for a wide range of products, including home furnishings, foodstuffs, and merchandise. He also marketed his name on a number of building projects, building on his success as a real estate developer. In 2011, Forbes estimated that these brand deals were worth $200 million. Trump disagreed. He argued that his brand was worth about $3 billion. Life as a real estate developer opened Donald Trump to several business opportunities, but one that we don't hear about too often is his golf business. Trump entered the golfing community as a player back when he was in college. He began buying and constructing golf courses under his company, the Trump Organization, in 1999. By 2016, Donald was the owner of 17 golf courses in the United States, Scotland, and Ireland. In 2023, Forbes estimated the revenue from these properties to be up to $150 million. And now to the most popular part of Donald Trump's career so far, his political career in the United States. Trump registered as a Republican in 1987 and joined the presidential race for the first time in 2000. He hinted at joining the race again in 2011 and then in 2015, but no one quite took him seriously. In spite of his controversial opinions on a wide range of subjects, as we went about his political campaign, Donald Trump emerged as the winner of the 2016 United States presidential election. While he was president, Trump handed over his businesses to his sons and a business associate. He still profited from these businesses, though. His tenure as president was marked by a lot of controversy, and this affected public perceptions of his brand. He is the only US president to have been impeached twice, and that, folks, was not a good rep. It didn't help that he refused to concede after he lost the 2020 elections to President Joe Biden. Yet Trump is a prime example of bad publicity is still publicity. Although most people boycotted his businesses, his supporters continued to patronize them. The true impact of how Donald Trump's presidency affected his brand image came in 2021. He registered Trump Media and Technology Group, the media company that released Truth Social. This social media platform was designed to compete with platforms like Twitter. It became a public company in March 2024. Back in 2023, it was estimated to have 607,000 registered users. Forbes says that Truth Social's parent company accounts for most of Trump's wealth today, with an estimated value of $5.6 billion. Like every other businessman, Donald Trump has had his fair share of legal trouble and bankruptcies. In fact, they're almost as old as all of his businesses. He has faced tax and insurance fraud allegations, financial misconduct suits, and even allegations of sexual misconduct. In 1991, the Trump Taj Mahal went bankrupt, citing $1.2 billion in debt. Many other businesses, such as the Trump Plaza Hotel, the Trump Castle Hotel, and the Trump Entertainment Resorts, also filed for bankruptcy at different points. How did Donald J. Trump bounce back from all these? One word suffices: resilience. At this point, it is clear as day that Trump didn't get here by luck. If there's one thing the world now knows about the 78-year-old, it's that he's one heck of a businessman. And this has affected other areas of his life. His business acumen, excellent negotiating power, and strong public image are invaluable assets that have brought him this far. Right now, we can only watch to see what else the unrelenting businessman and politician has up his sleeves.
I guess I just wanted to find out if there was one thing that you wanted people to remember about Donald Trump. What is it?
Well, I think just generally, never, ever quit. I never quit. I may have made some mistakes and I may have made some bad decisions, but I never, ever quit. I never give up. And sometimes that persistence, I've seen so many people over the years that are so smart and they don't have that stick-to-itiveness. They just can't go the long rounds. And just if I can impart one thing, and there's so many, love what you do, know what you're doing, so many different things, but never, ever give up.